Hey, what's going on everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. It looks like we've got a load of new information about the upcoming TJD10.1. Now, if you're not familiar with this handheld, basically what we have here is a Ryzen 7840U and a 10.1-inch IPS display. I mean, it's an absolutely massive handheld, and this was actually announced a couple months ago. We were a little skeptical about it, but they've updated their official YouTube page and they've revamped their whole website, giving us a lot of great information, including the price, and that's the first thing I want to talk about here. So it looks like they will be launching an Indigogo, and there's actually two different models of this handheld that you can pick up. Heading over to their official website, we get pricing here. The version with the Ryzen 7640U, 16GB of RAM and a 1TB drive, $599. The higher end version with the 7840U, 32GB of RAM and a 2TB drive is going to be $949. Now in between, I'm not exactly sure if they're going to be offering that 7840U with like 16 gigs and a 512 or a 1TB. That would definitely be great for the higher end version, but looking at everything here, one that I'm actually really interested in is the 7640U version, given that it's coming in at $599. Now, we're not going to get the kind of performance out of that 7640U that we would out of the 7840U, but I think it would still do a decent job, and for emulation, I'd say that this little chip would be plenty, and as soon as I can get my hands on a 7640U, we will be doing a lot of testing. But moving down a bit, obviously, we've got that large 10.1-inch display. It's got a resolution of 1200p, pixel density of 224 pixels per inch, and 500 nits of peak brightness. We've seen a lot of handhelds with the 7840U, 8 Zen 4 cores, 16 threads, and this will do up to 30 watts in the handheld. It'll utilize a dual copper tube heatsink with a large fan, and they've got a lot of space inside of this, given that we're working with that 10.1-inch display. I think if they design this cooler right, it could definitely hit that 30-watt TDP, and we wouldn't have to worry about thermal throttling with something like this. Built-in dual gyroscopes, plus they're going to be using Hall sensor-based joysticks and triggers on this unit, so we don't have to worry about drift, and they're really accurate. Dual front-facing stereo speakers, and they state that it delivers 2 watts of pure audio excellence. I'm not exactly sure if they're, using single 1-watt speakers and kind of just combining it to make it 2 watts, or if both of these are 2-watt individually. If they were, we could definitely get some really great volume out of this setup. When they initially announced this, one thing I was wondering about was USB 4, and it does look like we have 2 USB 4 40 gig Type-C ports here, plus a full-size USB 3.2 Gen 2 port. And on these larger handhelds, love seeing that full size. Definitely comes in really handy. And down here, we've got a micro SD card slot and a 3.5mm audio jack. We already saw up top that when it comes to RAM, you can pick this up with either 16 or 32 and a 1TB to a 2TB drive. It is an M.2 2280, so you can get away replacing this for pretty cheap when you compare it to the smaller drives out there. And this is kind of the first image we've got of this in somebody's hands. It's definitely a big boy. Looks like we're going to get a 60-watt battery with this and 100-watt charging, fingerprint unlock, and RGB. Haven't seen really anything about the RGB yet. Looks like we'll have it on the side and the front. Some people are into this, some people don't like it. I do think it kind of adds a little bit. They're giving us a look at some benchmarks that they ran, and we've seen the 7840U, we know how it's going to perform. That's really one of the big reasons I'm actually interested in that 7640U, and of course the price tag coming in at only $599. Looks like they will be utilizing 7500 megatransfers per second RAM, and that's really great for this iGPU. Just kind of going through here, seeing if we've got anything new. Not much. Having those 40 gig USB 4 ports is great. And again, they will be launching that Indigogo soon. So $599 for the 7640U, $949 for the 7840U. But with that, you do get 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 2TB drive right out of the box. But that higher end version is still quite expensive compared to others on the market right now. Either way, I'm actually kind of excited about this. I love seeing new competition on the market. Hopefully they do a great job with this, and as soon as I can get my hands on at least one of them, I will be doing a lot of testing. But let me know down in the comments below, is this something you're interested in? Is it too big? Does it look too weird? Are you going to wait for the next generation? Let us know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.